consideration provided by...
If you have Graves' disease, your eye symptoms could be something more. The itchiness may just be scratching the surface. That gritty feeling may not be so cut and dry. And you need to put the pain behind your eyes front and center. Up to 50% of people with Graves' disease will develop a different condition called thyroid eye disease, which needs a different treatment. To learn more, find a TED eye specialist at isitted.com.
Before we go, everything that Tom Holland and Zendaya do, it makes news.
It does.
Zendaya was in Rome when paparazzi caught her slipping on stairs. Zendaya reacted on her Instagram writing, "I can't stop laughing. Did they really have to take a video of me tripping?"
It also sparked memes like this one of Dr. Strange pushing her through the air, and that definitely got Zendaya's attention. They got me. But not to be outdone, her Spider-Man, Tom Holland, gave...
Happening now.
What this cold air could mean for some wintry precipitation tonight and into tomorrow, along with when we warm up in just a bit.
The First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, coming to San Antonio today. Her first stop over at the Mays Cancer Center, where she heard about the cancer health disparities in the Latino community.
Plus, Paula Gold-Williams, the former embattled CEO of CPS Energy, accepting her final paycheck. We break down that $1 million check next. The News at 5 starts right now. And we start with some late-breaking news first at 5.
The fifth and final suspect involved in a double fatal shooting on Monday is now in police custody.
This was along West Mariposa near Blanco Road. It's on the north side.
Yeah, our John Paul Barajas joins us live from Public Safety Headquarters. John Paul, we're learning the suspect is only 17 years old.
Steve, Ursula, that's right. He's Jerry Ortiz, 17 years old, still lots of life to live in front of him, and that suspect actually turned himself in here to police. Now, in this shooting, 3 people were hit by gunfire. 2 of them died, one of them being one of the suspects, the other a 60-year-old man who was just watching TV at home when the shooting happened, an innocent bystander. We asked Ortiz as he was walking out in front of us if he had any remorse for that 60-year-old man. He almost looked kind of confused. As for any other questions me and other reporters had for him, he didn't comment.
I'd like to speak to my attorney.
What were you guys seeing that led to that?
Now, the 4 suspects who are still alive are facing charges of capital murder, and they still are not sure what caused the altercation that then led to the shooting. So still some questions to be answered. As soon as we get those, we'll bring them to you at Public Safety Headquarters. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Windy, cold, cloudy all day long today. One of those days where it looks like it could rain at any moment. We just haven't seen much moisture, at least not yet, and we're not expecting a whole lot. You take a look at the radar and we have a few of these light sprinkles moving south to north pretty quickly. Some of them moving into southern Bexar County on the south side of San Antonio around 1604, and even starting to creep up toward downtown and even 410 on the south side. These are really quick little trace to maybe 100th or 200th of an inch type of little sprinkles that are moving by. And this is mainly liquid around town, but you get up into the hill country, you see those pinks. It's a little bit of freezing drizzle that's coming and going. Main concern here, just elevated surfaces such as street signs, some tree branches, lamp posts, maybe a car if it's been parked outside for several hours and it's had time to cool off. A light glaze possible on those surfaces as we go through the night and even first thing tomorrow morning. Right now, West Kerrville 29, meanwhile 45 Del Rio and Eagle Pass, 31 in Schertz. Temperatures have been falling all day long. Windcrest at 36, Bulverde though 31 along with Bernie. So those sprinkles coming and going this evening, a little bit of freezing drizzle even creeping into parts of northern Bexar County and especially the hill country. We'll talk more about that and if there's going to be any impacts along with when we finally warm up from all this in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Let's check out traffic right now. This is 1604 at Babcock, and you can see there's an accident there. Actually looks like a fender bender on the turn lanes right there, but no major traffic tie-ups to tell you about.
She stepped down after last year's historic winter storm and subsequent grid failure.
But before she left, former CPS Energy president and CEO Paula Gold-Williams accepted a $1 million payout in her final paycheck. Financial records obtained by the KSAT defenders confirm Gold-Williams received a total of $1,035,054.60.
More than $751,000 of that came in the form of a restoration payment, which we're told is benefits from a non-qualified retirement plan that is taxable when earned. Also part of the total, $272,000 in accrued vacation pay. Most of those funds were accumulated over the past 18 years and were never used. On top of that, 125 hours were paid out for unused vacation time this year.
CPS Energy says Gold Williams was eligible for the same benefits as utility retirees, including pension. They did not tell us how much that pension is. She also had the option to participate in CPS Energy's health plan as a retiree. Rudy Garza remains the interim president and CEO. To date, a permanent replacement has not been named. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden in the Alamo City today. Her first stop at the Mays Cancer Center at UT Health San Antonio, where the focus was on the cancer health disparities in our Latino community. Garrett Berger joins us live from the medical center to take us through her visit. Garrett.
Well, the visit of Dr. Biden, who has a doctorate in education, ties in with the White House's cancer moonshot effort, which it reignited just a few weeks ago. Now, the goal of this quote-unquote moonshot is to cut the cancer death rate in half over the next 25 years. An admirable goal for sure, especially with communities that are being hit harder than others with this disease.
Arriving at UT Health San Antonio alongside Mayor Ron Nirenberg and the head of the National Cancer Institute, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden took a tour of the Mays Cancer Center, meeting healthcare workers and patients.
Yeah, and get it over with and get on with my day-to-day.
One thing touched upon, the number of missed cancer screenings during the pandemic. That's played into the White House's call to action on cancer, and it's an issue UT Health San Antonio has run into.
So we partnered with University Health System, and they brought their mobile mammogram unit out.
But the centerpiece of the visit was a listening session with experts about disparities in cancer health in the Latino community.
Cancer really, I bet, touches every single one of us. But it doesn't affect every community in the same way.
Whether it's the health risk.
We're seeing, for example, liver cancer at twice the rate compared to other populations, stomach cancers.
Or the load on the loved ones who take care of the patients.
And when we talk about Latinos have more than one job. So if they're the caregiver and they have to take their partner to an appointment and lose their job, and on top of the cost of the treatment, that is even worse.
The Bidens lost their oldest son, Beau, to brain cancer in 2015. And Dr. Biden said her husband's administration will be working to fight cancer every day.
But I really think, we're trying to end cancer as we know it, and I think we can do it.
The First Lady also stopped by JBSA Lackland on her way out of town. We've got a crew over there who's going to bring you the latest at 6. Live in the medical center, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Garrett. And while early voting is still underway for the primary elections, we want to break down some of the biggest races on the ballots and discuss what to expect come Election Day. It's just next Tuesday. It's part of tonight's live stream breakdown with Steph and Steve. It starts tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to be chatting with experts from Trinity University and others about Republicans and the Latino vote, the surge that they're seeing there, and the youth vote and why your vote matters. With the governor's seat up for election, Bexar County judge, several U.S. House of Representatives seats, there's a lot to cover. You can join the conversation by using the hashtag Steph and Steve. And if you scan this QR code, it will take you directly to KSAT.com, where you can watch tonight's live stream and join in the conversation. We want your questions. It'll also be available on all of our streaming platforms. A reminder, again, Election Day is Tuesday, March 1st.
We are watching it happen. New U.S. sanctions against Russia hitting banks there, but also hitting its government and Russian elites. And these sanctions more sanctions could be on the way. This as a conflict with Ukraine and potential invasion looms there. Isabel Rosales explains what Western leaders are still hoping for.
Tough new sanctions to pressure Russia to back down from its advances on Ukraine.
It's a very broad-ranging set of sanctions, deeper than anything we've seen before.
The sanctions, punishment for what President Joe Biden calls the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
When all is said and done, We're going to judge Russia by its actions, not its words.
For the first time, the U.S. fully sanctioning 2 Russian financial institutions. Russia barred from raising money from the West.
These costs are going to escalate from here.
The U.S. taking it further to cripple the flow of money to President Vladimir Putin by going after members of his inner circle and their families.
We put on notice the oligarchy in Russia that no one is safe.
World leaders actively assessing whether these sanctions will indeed deter Putin.
I think we should still try to deter, but we also should not assume it will work.
The country already paying a hefty price. This week alone, more than $25 billion has been wiped off the value of Russian stocks. And the Russian ruble has fallen to near record lows against the dollar.
Hit Russia's economy now and hit it hard.
The West reserving some of its toughest sanctions should Russia proceed to a full-scale invasion. The so-called nuclear option would remove Russia from a key global transaction ledger, making it difficult for banks to send money in or out of the country.
Russia's already feeling the pain.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
A man killed after he stepped in to help a stranger this weekend, identified as 23-year-old Jonathan Breonna. San Antonio police say he was shot Sunday morning by a man who was reportedly harassing a woman who was leaving a bar near North St. Mary's Street. They say the man was hitting on the woman. When she refused, he pulled out a gun. 2 men, including Breonna, intervened. Both were shot. Breonna died on his way to the hospital. The other victim expected to be okay. No arrests have been made.
A trial is now underway for the only Louisville police officer facing criminal charges in the killing of Breonna Taylor.
Former officer Brett Hankinson is facing felony charges of wanton endangerment. However, he's not facing charges in her death. 2 years ago, the ex-cop blindly shot through Taylor's apartment and her neighbors. Jurors, which were selected from a larger than normal pool because of the amount of publicity this case has received, are expected to tour Taylor's apartment and hear testimony from Hankinson during that trial. The 3 counts of wanton endangerment come with a max of 5 years in prison.
Checking in quickly on COVID-19 in Bexar County, Metro Health reporting 161 new cases, 5 more deaths, and the 7-day average is now at 348.
448 COVID patients are in the hospital tonight, 113 in the intensive care units, and 58 are on ventilators.
Are you well rested? A lot of people say they are not, and it's for a number of reasons. Up next, we're going to take a look at the options to give you a longer night's rest.
I'm Myra Arthur, and coming up today on the news at 6, the Bexar County Family Justice Center getting some extra help when it comes to protective orders. Our Erica Hernandez explains why this move is needed and how that will help in the fight against domestic violence. She's talking with Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez about this change. Plus, a long-running bird controversy still very much up in the air. We're talking about egrets. During nesting season, these migratory birds flock to Breckenridge Park. Problem is, they're getting in the way of the city's planned improvements at the park. The trees there, a historic wall nearby, the impact on the birds, all concerns. The city was supposed to present its final plan to the Historic Design and Review Commission this week, but they pumped the brakes on that. Jesse DeGoyato has reaction from those who have been trying to find a better solution. All that and more coming up tonight on the news at 6.
Thank you, Myra. New at 5. How did you sleep last night? More than half of Americans say that they're not getting the uninterrupted sleep that they need. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz takes a look at sleep supplements and whether they could be a dream come true.
Breast cancer survivor Kelly Goldstein had trouble falling asleep for years. Her doctor prescribed Ambien.
I was happy with the fact that it knocked me out. Was not thrilled with the side effects that came along with it. Oftentimes there would be, a bag of popcorn next to my bed, half eaten.
The uncommon sleep-eating side effects made Kelly uneasy, so she tried the dietary supplement melatonin.
It allowed you to sort of feel sleepy and then get ready for bed.
Melatonin is a naturally produced hormone that regulates our sleep-wake cycle.
It's a good option for people who may not produce enough of the hormone, and it might also help people who are jet-lagged or work night shifts.
Store shelves are stocked with pills that are supposed to help you sleep, like valerian root, used for centuries to treat insomnia, and vitamin D. Some research suggests that if your levels are low, adding it may help you nod off faster and sleep longer. And if it's restless leg syndrome keeping you up, your doctor may suggest iron. But be wise when you shop.
The Food and Drug Administration doesn't hold supplements to the same standard that they do prescription and over-the-counter drugs. They also don't verify what the labels say are in the supplements.
There are groups that do. They test supplements for contaminants like metals or pesticides, so look for their seals. You can also supplement your supplements, like Kelly does with her noise machine. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
It is important to note that some supplements can have very serious side effects. They can also interact dangerously with other drugs, so you need to check with your doctor first.
Check out live cam right now. 33 degrees out there. The silver lining in all this is right now, at least in San Antonio, it's just the cold weather.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of moisture to work with. You see those clouds, they're actually higher based. There isn't a whole lot of moisture out there, not much to really fall out of those clouds. Of course, we're seeing a few sprinkles and a little bit of drizzle, and north side of town and even into the hill country, some freezing drizzle periodically this evening and tonight. We'll get into those details in a moment. I do want to let you know it's going to be cold like this all the way through Saturday, just not as much of a wind. That's what's going to improve. Sunny and 60 by Sunday. Sunday is the pick of the weekend, okay? So Sunday is the outdoor day, time to get back outside. This map says it all. Look at our 24-hour temperature change. Compared to this time yesterday, we are 50 degrees cooler here in San Antonio, and actually that's the common theme all across the KSAT 12 viewing area. So that puts us at 33 degrees officially at the airport in town. Kerrville 30, Fredericksburg 28, Rock Springs 28. Outside of the hill country, we are above freezing. Uvalde 39, even 41 in Carrizo Springs right now. You look at the wider view, temperatures get down into the 20s up into North Texas, teens then farther up the plains. Brownsville just a couple of hours ago was 80 degrees, now at 63. So the cold front just hit Brownsville. That was the anomaly temperature-wise across the state. But now even Brownsville is getting a taste of this cold front that it has moved through and hit us last night. So let's talk about what we're expecting tomorrow morning. Pretty much steady temperatures through the night, right near freezing here in town. And by tomorrow morning, I think at 7 a.m., we'll actually rise a degree or two to about 34 in San Antonio, but some 20s in the hill country. And that's for early tomorrow morning. Then by the afternoon, we make it closer to 40 degrees. So not much of a warming trend throughout the day tomorrow. We could see a little bit of sunshine along the Rio Grande. So Del Rio, Eagle Pass, maybe lower 50s, but I am thinking closer to 40 degrees for an afternoon high temperature. That's not much of a high temperature per se. Here's another way to look at it. 32 degrees, basically at freezing overnight tonight. Morning commute, we start to see our temperature come up a degree or two. And then by 4 o'clock tomorrow, that's our warmest point of the day at 40 degrees. Combine that colder air and the cold temperatures with some precipitation. The main problems have been Dallas and then up into Oklahoma and Arkansas, Missouri. That's where the main wintry precipitation has been. Again, we don't have a whole lot of moisture to work with, just these little hit or miss light sprinkles and areas of drizzle coming and going. Here's our futurecast. I like this particular high resolution computer model. And notice as we go through the evening, we'll see more of these little sprinkles and areas of drizzle moving south to north. But here's the key. As we cool off another couple of degrees, even northern Bexar County, not just the hill country, but northern Bexar County, we're talking 1604 and northward, probably a light glaze on some elevated surfaces. Mainly street lights, street signs, maybe a car if it's been parked outside for several hours and has had a chance to cool off. Those elevated surfaces. Bridges and overpasses by and large should be just okay tonight through the morning commute. Just exercise a little more caution if you're traveling. Again, that's northern Bexar County, at Timberwood Park, Bernie as well, Fair Oaks Ranch, that includes you. Just exercise a little extra caution. But I think by the morning commute, with that couple degree temperature rise, we're going to be a better situation. And then Tomorrow, mainly just gray. Here's a look at the potential impacts for those elevated surfaces. Of course, as usual, the hill country, but also northern side of Bexar County there, 1604 and northward. The main impacts still are up into Arkansas. That's where the main wintry weather is associated with this. So tomorrow morning at 34, will be 32 degrees tonight, but I think at 7 a.m. 34, by the afternoon up to 40 degrees. And notice how those sprinkle chances fall off to only 10% by 4 p.m. tomorrow. Looking ahead, 33 Friday morning, and high temperatures basically right near 40 tomorrow through Saturday. It's not until Sunday that we're back into the sunshine and 60 degrees.
All the way up to 40 degrees.
You know, a lot of people say this isn't their first rodeo.
Yeah.
This Spur,
yeah.
It was.
It was. And he had his teammate with him. We're going to talk about Lonnie Walker IV, who did attend his first rodeo. And it was a bonus night because it was Extreme Bulls night. There they are. He'll talk about that when we come back. And Gentle Ben is back at Oak Hills coming up.
First rodeo. I've been trying to go, but usually we're on the trip, and then we have break, then we're back on the trip. And usually when we come back from the break, they're almost done. So it was great that, I got to go finally.
All right, Lonnie Walker IV taking in the San Antonio Rodeo last night with his teammate Keldon Johnson in Big Board Sports. But first, San Antonio Spurs back on the practice floor today for the first time since the All-Star break. Everyone but DeJounte Murray having a nice long vacation from the court. Even though he wasn't alone in Cleveland, teammate Lonnie Walker IV was there to support DeJounte after he fought his way back from a knee injury back in 2018 to be named an All-Star for the first time in his career. So why did Lonnie attend?
That's family right there. And I think, I'm the younger brother, and how he has taken me in as like my rookie year compared to now. Our love and our bond has continuously grown, especially just with his family. I mean, I talk to his family more than I talk to him half of the time, So being a first-time All-Star, it's only right that I get to be there and enjoy something that not too many people get to accomplish. And, being able to see that smile on his face, it means the world to me.
And when Lonnie returned, he got together with his teammate Keldon Johnson. They were able to attend the rodeo last night, and they picked a great night to do it because it was Extreme Bull Riding Night.
It was amazing. The environment was something like no other. I never got to experience something like that. I'm from Pennsylvania, so seeing people bull riding and doing everything else, it's an experience that you truly can't explain until you're there. The adrenaline, the excitement that you get is one to none. Those bulls are huge, and to see these people riding these bulls, and then you got to be truly fearless and courageous to be able to do something like that. So my hat is off to them.
All right, next game back will be on Friday in Washington. And look who was in town today. Gentle Ben Crenshaw, the two-time Texas Open champion, part of the 100-year celebration of the Valero Texas Open. He was on hand today for the placement of a historical mark at Oak Hills Country Club that hosted the Texas Open for 24 years, where Crenshaw won in 1973 and again in 86.
Some of my fondest memories are here as a professional golfer, and I'm very thankful to Oak Hills, and I'm so glad that they mean so much to the history of our game in Texas.
This year's Texas Open will be held at the J.W. Marriott TPC Resort Course from March the 31st to April the 3rd, and Rory McIlroy is committed to play in that tournament. Welcome back, Rory.
Great to see Ben Crenshaw, though, again.
Yeah, 73 and 86, I was there. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Some amazing names on that plaque.
No name. No name.
We'll be right back.
We want to take a live look outside at I-35 in Houston. You can see it's wet out there and maybe a little bit icy, too.
Yeah, that's actually I-37 in Houston, so we're on the east side. And I-10 in Frio. Big slowdowns out there. You can see the precipitation is picking up. So how concerned should we be about that, Adam Caskey?
Maybe just a little bit of glaze on some elevated surfaces like street signs, and that's about it. See you at 6.